Now, I don't know about you, but I hate waiting. I hate waiting in traffic when I have to go to work in the morning. I hate waiting in long lines at the grocery store. I hate waiting on Amazon packages. I've got one right now that's been delayed 4 days and it's driving me insane. I hate waiting so much that I last week went to the DMV and waited in that long line so that I could sign up for TSA PreCheck, so that when I am flying, I don't have to wait in those long security checkpoint lines. So you can imagine that if I hate waiting that much, today's topic is a little bit difficult for me. Today we're talking about the blessing of waiting. Now, when I think about waiting and I think about scriptures that speak to waiting, the one that comes immediately to mind for me is Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. And it says, "But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." Now, the interesting thing about this passage is Isaiah is trying to tell us that ultimately there is a blessing that comes out of waiting. And the blessing that he's referring to is largely an endurance. You've got someone who can walk and not faint. You've got someone who runs and isn't weary. Now, you might be wondering, what about this eagle? Well, I did a little bit of research and realized that an eagle can fly up to 125 miles without stopping. I'd say that's some endurance. And so I understand in this time of prayer, the concept of being able to wait on God, knowing that the prayers that we offer him after the waiting will prepare us for a time of endurance. However, my question today is, what do we do in the wait? You see, I had to go back and look at the analogy that Isaiah gave in terms of the athletics, where he's talking about running, he's talking about walking, and the endurance that he's referring to. Because if you take that analogy a little bit further, think about working out. In working out, one of the key things that you must do is rest. You might be asking, well, why is that important? Well, it's because studies have shown that it's in the rest that your muscles actually grow. When you're working out, your muscles are having little tears in them occur at every turn. All of the movements that you're making end up tearing the fibers in your muscles. And it's in the rest that those muscles are able to heal and growth is actually catalyzed. And so, if we take that same application now into our prayer life, what we learn is that it's in the wait that our strength becomes realized. It's in the wait that our spiritual muscles start to grow. So I want to encourage you today that if there is something that you've been praying for God to answer, but you haven't heard from him yet, it's in the wait that you're actually going to grow. See, God allows us to experience the wait because it's in the wait that our faith is strengthened. It's in the wait that our trust with him continues to grow. It's in the wait that we see that ultimately he is in control. So today I encourage you to embrace the wait. I know it can be difficult, particularly for impatient people like me. It can be very difficult. But know that in the wait, you are growing. God bless.